All right, today we are diving deep into Ian M. Banks' incredible novel Matter. What makes this book so fantastic is how it weaves together two completely different kinds of stories. On one hand, you have a classic, almost Shakespearean family drama full of betrayal. And on the other, you have a mind-bending cosmic mystery that spans 1 billion years. It's a wild ride, so let's break it down.
So here's our game plan. First, we've got to talk about the unbelievable setting where all this happens. Then we'll get into the murder of a king and see how that completely shatters his family. From there, we'll follow them as they unearth a truly dark secret, which leads to, well, an ancient threat that's been sleeping for nearly 1 billion years. It's going to be epic.
Okay, first things first. To really get what's going on in this story, you have to understand the place where it's set. And trust me, this isn't just some regular planet. It's something way, way more complex and, frankly, awe-inspiring. I want you to picture a planet that's built like a giant onion. A shell world is this massive artificial sphere with entire civilizations living on the inner surfaces of its many layers. And these layers are separated by these huge distances and, more importantly, huge gaps in technology. You can have a medieval society on one level and a hyper-advanced one on another. Our story is focused on one particular show world called Sursamin. We're starting on the 8th level in the Sorrel Kingdom, which is this very feudal, almost medieval society. You know, kings, knights, but also some cool steam-powered war machines. And right below them, on the 9th level, live their biggest rivals, the Delden. All right, now for the event that kicks the whole plot into high gear. It's a story as old as time, betrayal at the very, very top. The novel opens with this absolutely brilliant political move. King Hausk of the Sorrel lays this perfect trap and just wipes out the entire attacking Dildan army. A total victory. But right there, in his greatest moment of triumph, he's assassinated. And the killer? Not one of his enemies. Nope, it's his closest friend, his most trusted advisor, a man named Myrtis Tai Losp. And this line just perfectly sums up the killer's ice-cold worldview. For Liops, the universe rewards the ruthless. He didn't see the king's trust as a good thing. He saw it as a deadly flaw, a kind of foolishness that when you're playing for a throne, gets you killed. So, the king's murder does more than just create a power vacuum. It completely shatters the royal family. His 3 children are sent flying off on these 3 incredibly different and really dangerous paths. Back on the 8th level, the 2 princes are taken out of the picture almost immediately. Furbin, who's the rightful heir, is forced to run for his life, becoming a fugitive. At the same time, his younger half-brother, Orman, is crowned king, but it's a total sham. He's just a naive kid, a puppet being completely controlled by the man who murdered his father. But then there's the 3rd heir, the wild card, Dijon Ciri Anaplenian. She's been living light years away. See, she was given to the culture as a child. And the culture is this vast, post-scarcity, galaxy-spanning civilization that's pretty much godlike. Now, she's a powerful, heavily augmented agent for their most elite, most shadowy division, special circumstances. The people who do the culture's dirty work. I mean, her life has been this incredible journey away from her primitive home. She was basically given away to pay off a debt. And she completely remade herself into something her family can't even begin to comprehend. But then, word of her father's murder reaches her across the stars. And her past, this sense of duty, it starts pulling her back home. Okay, now we get to the part where the political backstabbing starts to collide with a much older, much scarier mystery that's been buried deep, deep underground. So to keep the young puppet king Orman out of his hair, the regent Losp sends him down to the 9th level to oversee a remote archaeological dig. It's just a simple political move to keep the kid busy, but what he doesn't know is that he's just accidentally placed Orman at ground zero of a world-ending catastrophe. You see, this is not just any old ruin. The site is known only as the Nameless City, and for centuries it was guarded by this secretive order of monks. And here's the creepy part. They all recently committed mass suicide. Every last one of them. Why? To protect its secrets. So the question is, what could possibly be so terrible? Well, the dig starts uncovering things that just don't make sense. A buried city built with technology that's impossible for this level. And at its very center, they find these perfectly smooth, totally indestructible black cubes. The secrets here were so dark that the monks who knew them chose to die rather than let anyone else find out. So you can probably guess what happens next. The digging doesn't just uncover a city, it wakes up what was sleeping there. It basically reactivates a weapon that has been dormant for eons. And this is where the scale of this story just explodes. All this Sorrel's political drama, all the backstabbing for the throne, all of it feels so important to them. But it's about to seem completely meaningless when compared to a threat from the galaxy's deep, dark history. Okay, I want you to remember this number, 2,300. Just lock that in your brain. This number is the key to understanding the sheer horror that's about to be unleashed. It is a terrifyingly important number. So what is it? That's the number of shell worlds, worlds just like Sursaman, that were destroyed by an ancient, long-dead race called the Iln. We're talking about genocide on a galactic scale, wiping out world after world. And those black cubes they found? Yeah, those are the Iln's world-killing weapons, and they have just been turned back on. And this is where it all comes together. All the different threads of our story, the exiled prince, the puppet king, the super agent sister from another world, they all come crashing together for one final, absolutely stunning confrontation. So the story hits its climax when the three siblings finally reunite. Their very personal quest for revenge against one man, one traitor, ends up playing out right in the shadow of this ancient apocalypse that could destroy not just their kingdom, but their entire world. And this is really the genius of the novel, right? You've got this central conflict happening on three totally different scales all at once. There's the personal drama of the royal family. There's the immediate planetary danger to the entire shell world of Sursaman. And then there's the ancient galactic threat of the Iln, a horror story from the deep past. Which, at the end of the day, leaves us with this really profound question that's right there in the book's title. In a universe with infinite layers, with godlike civilizations and ancient world-killing machines, what does one person's life, one family's search for justice, actually mean? What, in the end, truly matters?